Most dangerous bites announce themselves immediately. A cobra strike burns like fire within seconds. A crocodile's jaws register as catastrophic force the moment they close. Your body knows. Your brain knows. The threat is immediate, obvious, and impossible to ignore. But there is one animal whose bite does something far more unsettling than cause immediate pain. It lets you walk away, thinking you survived. And then, days later, it kills you anyway. The Komodo dragon is the largest living lizard on Earth, reaching up to 10 feet in length and over 150 pounds. Found only on a handful of islands in Indonesia, Komodo, Rinca, Flores, and Gili Motang. For most of their documented history, scientists believed Komodo dragons were dangerous primarily because of the bacteria living in their saliva, a cocktail of over 50 strains of harmful bacteria so potent that a single bite would cause fatal infection in prey that managed to escape. That explanation made sense. It was widely accepted, and it was taught as established fact for decades. It was also only partially correct. In 2009, researcher Bryan Fry and a team from the University of Melbourne conducted a detailed study of Komodo dragon anatomy and discovered something that changed the understanding of how these animals hunt. Komodo dragons have venom glands. Positioned in the lower jaw, these glands produce a cocktail of anticoagulant compounds, chemicals that prevent blood from clotting. When a Komodo dragon bites, venom enters the wound alongside bacteria, and the combination does something that a simple painful bite never could. It turns the victim's own body against itself, quietly, without the victim realizing what's happening. Here's what that looks like in practice. A Komodo dragon ambushes prey: deer, pigs, water buffalo, and in rare documented cases, humans, with a sudden strike, usually targeting the legs or lower body. The bite is painful, but survivable feeling. The prey escapes. The wound bleeds, but so do most wounds. The animal, or person, moves away, adrenaline masking the full severity, and begins to recover. Or so it seems. Beneath the surface, the anticoagulant venom is preventing the wound from clotting. The bacteria are establishing a systemic infection. Blood pressure begins dropping, slowly and then faster, as internal bleeding continues unchecked. The prey weakens, stumbles, and eventually collapses, sometimes miles from where the original bite occurred. And the Komodo dragon, which has been tracking the victim by scent the entire time, using its forked tongue to sample the air, simply follows. It can detect blood in the air from up to 5 miles away, and it is in no hurry. It knows what's coming before the prey does. For humans, the documented timeline of a serious Komodo dragon bite follows a specific and deeply unsettling progression. The initial bite causes pain and bleeding, but is often initially assessed as manageable, survivable without immediate life-threatening concern. Within 24 hours, the wound shows unusual characteristics. It won't stop bleeding normally, swelling is more pronounced than expected, and the edges of the wound show early signs of necrosis. By day 3, systemic infection has typically taken hold: fever, dropping blood pressure, organ stress. Without aggressive medical intervention, including antivenin and broad-spectrum antibiotics, the progression continues. Deaths from Komodo dragon bites have occurred within 4 to 6 days of the initial strike, in cases where victims either couldn't access medical care or didn't initially seek it because the bite seemed survivable. There is a documented case from 2007 that illustrates this precisely. A group of divers became stranded on Komodo Island and were attacked. One man sustained a bite to his foot. The wound bled heavily, but he was able to walk. By the time the group was rescued several days later, the infection and blood loss had become life-threatening, and the victim required emergency medical intervention to survive. He had walked away from the bite, believing he would be fine. The dragon had known otherwise from the moment its teeth broke skin. What makes this animal uniquely terrifying isn't its size, its speed, or even the venom itself. It's the patience. A Komodo dragon doesn't need to overpower its prey. It doesn't need to deliver a killing blow. It bites once, releases, and waits. The weapon isn't the mouth, it's time. And time is the one thing prey animals and people consistently underestimate. There are fewer than 1,400 Komodo dragons left in the wild, and attacks on humans are rare but documented, typically occurring when humans enter their territory without adequate precaution. Rangers on Komodo Island carry forked sticks specifically to fend off Komodo dragons that approach too closely, and the Indonesian government strictly controls access to the islands where they live. An animal that has survived unchanged for millions of years, on islands so remote that it existed in isolation long enough to become the closest thing to a real dragon that has ever lived. And its most lethal weapon is a bite so subtle you might not know it killed you until it's almost too late. Which part of this do you find most unsettling? The venom you can't feel working? Or the fact that it tracks you for days afterward? Drop it in the comments and subscribe to NatureCrest for more deep dives into the animal kingdom's most extraordinary and most dangerous hunters.